Okay guys, here's what we're making today. This is the Take Your Stand pattern by Annie. It is one of the bag making bee boxes. I don't remember what month it was because I've had it for a while. I think I got it when I was having my knee surgery and I just didn't get to it. It is very cute. It takes a while to make just because there's so many steps. But it was also my first go, so, you know, anytime you do something for the first time, it takes a while. Cute. This is the front. You got a huge pocket here. This is the back. You have a huge pocket here. You have a handle. You've got a crossbody strap. And then when you open it, you've got mesh pockets on either side. And it opens wide. There's tons of room. It's very cute. This will be for sale on my website. It's adorable. The Take a Stand by Annie. Go get the pattern and let's get started. Hi everyone, this is Barbie with Jeannie's Designs. I'm getting ready to do one of the bag making bee boxes. It's this Take a Stand tote by Annie. By Annie. I don't remember which month it was, but it's been a few boxes back. I'm really just trying to catch up on all the boxes since my knee surgery. So I probably have at least 2 more that I need to get done, but that's the way it is. So I have never made this. It's a cute little bag. All the materials came in the box. So there's 2 pieces of mesh, kind of a green mesh. And then she does have you quilt it. And I have my quilted pieces ready. The spray adhesive isn't really staying, but here's what it is on this side, this right side. The foam is in between, and then on the other side is the lining. So the foam is in between. I have 2 of those pieces. It's interesting, the spray adhesive isn't working at all. And then I have multiple pieces of the, there's like zipper ends, binding, all that. And I'll go over those as I use each one. And then in the box also came some webbing, which I think is going to be covered with the fabric. Some fold over elastic, a cute little tag from Hartwood & Hine, 3 zipper pulls with a little, I think it's a little dinosaur thing on it because the fabric is dinosaur. 2 swivel clasp, 1 slide adjuster, and 2 D-rings. All came in. Oh, and there's a zipper tape. I had to iron it. It was pretty wrinkled, so pink zipper tape. Okay. So that's all there is. So I'm going to quilt these, and I'm just going to do a real random quilting. Nothing fancy, just real random. Let's get started. All right, here we go. Very random. All right, Very random quilting on both of those. Just very, very random. I did end up just basting all the way around because it was, the spray adhesive wasn't sticking at all. So now I'm going to go cut these to size. And if I have to do any, you know, update on the stitching, I might do that. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so I've cut these all to size, but I'm going to just stitch around each of the pieces. All right, so I moved over to my Bernina because most of this is cotton. And the fabricator will just eat it alive. So this is my strap. I'm gonna do the strap a little different. I do not want to turn it a 1-inch piece, turn it right side out. I just think that would be disastrous for me. Let me find my decent scissors. Hold on. All right, so I have my 2 straps, and I'm gonna make this just an inch longer. Let me just see. Yeah. I'm not gonna do it in one piece because you want to have some extra on each end. And if I do it in one piece, it won't. So I'm just doing it this way. All right. So I'm going to take my strap and my strapping, it's the strapping cover. I'm just going to put some double-sided tape down. I only folded one edge of my strapping cover over by 1/4 inch. I am putting double-sided tape down both long edges. This is deviating from the pattern, but it's so much easier for me because I don't want to turn that really. I don't have that big long turning tool either. Okay. So I'm going to take off the tape on this raw edge side. If I can get it to come off. Oh goodness, I should go get my tweezers. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna lay my strap in the middle here. And I have about a 1/2 inch on each end, just like you should in the pattern. And I'm gonna fold this over and get it pretty even. A lot of raw edge there, perfect. Then I'm gonna take the tape off the other folded ironed edge. And we're gonna fold this over and just get it nice and taut. And then we will stitch down each side and over this folded edge. And that's perfectly okay. I think what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna stitch over that folded edge first. Which is pretty much in the middle. Let's see how it looks. Perfect. Now I'm going to stitch down each side. Just like a regular strap. So much easier. I'll do the other D-ring connector and the long strap this exact same way. Perfect. So now I'm going to take one of my D-rings and we're going to add that with the raw edge on the inside. It's not really not a raw edge anymore. And if you have anything, any fraying sticking out, just grab that and pull that through. Just once. Oh no, here's a tiny one. And we're going to fold that wrong sides together, just like that, and baste the bottom together. Perfect. Oh my gosh, that was so much easier. I dreaded the turning. So there you go. So we'll set that aside and I'll repeat that with the other 12-inch piece and the entire strap. And I'll do it on fast forward. All right, that was so much easier than trying to turn it. So now I folded my raw edge over, and I'm gonna sew that. Once I got it on my slider, I'm gonna sew that 2 rows of stitches, I think. Perfect. All right, so now put one of your swivel clasps on. Just like any other strap, up and through your slide adjuster. Just make sure nothing's twisted. And back down. Okay, so there's your swivel clasp and your slide adjuster. Just make sure they're not twisted. And we're going to add our other swivel clasp, and we're going to fold that on itself and fold that down. Now, because this is cotton, I'm not using any rivets. I would love to. But it would just fray. And I'm just moving over. Okay. Beautiful. And then just trim your threads. I want to burn my thread so bad, but you can't. Okay, so there is our strap and our D-rings. All right, so now we're going to work on our end binding. So this is just a 2-inch piece that we have folded the raw edges on the inside, and we're going to stitch around each of those. All 4 sides. 2 long sides, 2 short sides. And repeat. All right, so take one of your front panels, A or B, doesn't matter which. And we're going to take our, hold on. All right, so take one of your front panels, A or B, mark a line just like she tells you to in the pattern. It's just a scant 2-inch. And we're gonna lay this piece right along that line, just underneath. I know, it seems weird, doesn't it? And then we're gonna sew that together at the seam allowance in the pattern. Okay, so I've got the top of that raw edge just under that line, and we're gonna sew that with the seam allowance in the pattern. And I just gotta measure where my 1/4 inch. You know what? I'm gonna put my 1/4 inch foot on. Hold on. All right, so I put my 1/4 inch foot. That way I could just go by the side of my foot. All right, now this should fold up to the top. Clip that in place, and then I'm just gonna baste it across the top. Okay. 1/8 of an inch. Perfect, next step. All right, so I'm gonna add my tag there. Just put it up high enough where it's not gonna get in the way when we trim this off, because we will trim some of the bottom off. All right, so take your 15-inch zipper, 15-inch zipper, just as long as it's long enough. And we're gonna sew that together at the seam allowance in the pattern, which is 1/4 inch. Oh, I need to clear my stitch length. Okay. Now we're gonna fold that down. It's actually a little challenging, but we're gonna fold this down and stitch from the back. It will create, just make sure you're being as straight as you can. Oh, I gotta get these out of the way. I'm just going along my previous stitch length. So I keep it nice and straight. Okay. So that's what you should have on the front, where it really looks like a top stitch, but you really just folded that down. It's a raw edge in there. I don't really like that, but that's the way the pattern is. That's okay. I'm doing it the way it says. Next up. So for the other panel, we're doing the exact same thing, except we're not putting that decorative piece on the front. So do your 1/4 inch stitch here. All right, so for both of these pockets, we're gonna put the binding on. And this is the zipper binding. It's a 2-inch piece. We're folding it wrong sides together. We didn't baste anything, and we're adding that to the back top raw edge on the top of the zipper. So it's behind here on the zipper. And we are gonna sew that together at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Don't know what happened there, so let's get rid of that. It didn't do it. It's okay. There we go. All right, and then we're gonna fold that over, creating a binding on the front. You could use double-sided tape here. I don't really want to, so I'm just gonna clip it. And then we'll stitch that. It's a challenge when you're using cotton that's not interfaced, because it really tends to fray a little. That's okay. This gives it a nice finished look. So we'll just top stitch that. And you want to cover your previous stitches. have to say. All right, so now we're going to repeat that with our other side. All right, so now we're going to trim these, and you just want to trim them. Oops, I just unthreaded my machine. Trim them to the size that's in the pattern. And I am going to just baste this before I trim it. Right along where I'm going to trim it. Perfect. And I'm going to repeat that with this other one. Perfect. Now we're going to do our mesh pockets. I don't like mesh pockets, but that's okay. Now I am going to use some double-sided tape here. On both the top long edge and the bottom long edge. And we're just putting the binding. Now I didn't get enough of the binding in the kit for some reason. So we're just going to make it work. It'll be fine, I think. This binding that came in the kit, there's really not a right or wrong side, I don't think. The nice thing about mesh, the double-sided tape goes through both sides. So it sticks on both sides. I'm gonna have to put my other table on here. This is kind of unruly. All right, let's top stitch these. And just go slow because it's going to want to bunch up a little. I'm not too worried about it really, but I changed my bobbin, whoops, and it's telling me, my machine's telling me my bobbin's almost empty. No, no, it's not. Okay, let's do the other end. So we're going to take our sides and we're going to do the exact same thing we did before. We're going to take our binding piece and we're going to sew that at a 1/4 inch seam allowance and then pull that to the front. Just make sure you have it. And this is on the top. Oops, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. No, it's not okay. Let me fix it. All right, so now we're going to take our side pieces and on the back, going to put our raw edge on top. I folded these over, so don't mind me. And we're going to sew that at the seam allowance in the pattern, which is a 1/4 inch. So this is the right side and the raw edge is on top. This is the top. Let me just verify. Yep. And then we're going to fold that over and just create our little binding. And the key here is you just want to cover that previous row of stitches. I need my stiletto from the other machine. This will do though, you know? Okay. There you go. Let's repeat that over here. All right, so the next step is we're going to add our little strap here. And I made mine too long, so we're just gonna wing it. Oops. All right, we're gonna mark, let's see what it tells you to. Oh, there went my pattern. So I'm making the small. Gotta get a new one. So the measurement for the small, just FYI, is a little different. Okay. And then we're going to measure over. This is the same, no matter what size you're doing. Going to measure over from the sides, what she tells you to in the pattern. And we're going to stitch up and around and back on each side. To that mark that we just made. And do a little box. You're creating a little strap here. Man, these marks are just disappearing almost immediately. How weird. Perfect. Let's clean up your threads. And then you have a nice little strap there. I'm going to trim that off. All right, so we're rounding the corners on the bottom here. And I just used the bottom of a spool of thread. That's it. Now I'm going to just stitch so I don't lose my basting. On those corners. And I just went across the bottom. All right, so there you have your two sides. All right, so the next step is to put your D-rings on, your D-ring connectors. Measure down the distance from each top edge, what she tells you, and then measure over 1 inch. And we're gonna add our D-rings on opposite sides. And I'm just putting some tape on here to keep it where I want it. And then I am putting a piece of tape inside so that it stays closed, just while I sew it. Both this tape is going to be out of my seam allowance, so it won't get my needle all gummy. Okay, so 1 inch over, and then right on that line. And then I am marking, I can find my ruler, down 1 inch. So I stay really clear of my D-ring. Okay, so here we go. And I'll just start down here. So this is how your D-ring should be. One's over here and one's over here, opposite. This is all going to be pretty covered with your outside pockets. Just FYI. It says my bobbin is empty. I find that hard to believe. Oh, I never did change my bobbin. I thought I did. I didn't. Here it is. Here's my brand new full bobbin. Okay, good. Perfect. I do love this about my Bernina. It tells you exactly. Okay. Let's back stitch just a little here. And I'm just going over the previous stitches, and then when I get to the line, I'm going to turn it well outside my D-ring, which is a beautiful thing. All right, let's clean this up a little bit. Oh my, I don't even need to. Okay, so that's that side, and let's do the other side. All right, so there you have your D-rings attached on both sides, opposite sides. So it ends up being like this. One over here and one over here. Perfect. Next step. So now we're going to attach our mesh pockets, which I still don't like, but that's okay. Measure down from the top edges. And mark a line, and that's exactly where we're going to attach our mesh pockets. Your mesh pockets are longer, so don't worry about that. I'm trying to find my hair clips. All right, and we're don't sew the top. We're just going to sew down the sides and across the bottom. And then you can divide these any way you'd like. She gives you a suggestion in the pattern. On one side, it doesn't, honestly, it doesn't matter. And I'm just going to do them from the bottom up. back stitching. So on these pockets, you can decide, this is tick book, this is the front. You can decide which side you want to be on the front. For me, it doesn't matter, but from your line that you drew earlier to attach your D-rings, we're gonna add our pockets right sides together. I know, it feels weird. And then we're going to stitch the seam allowance in the pattern along this edge. I might have to go back over to my fabricator, actually. Let's see. I don't know why let me see something. It's not pulling my thread, my piece through. Let me see why. I don't know. Don't know why. Okay. Okay, take your clips off. Now we're going to fold this up with the wrong side, the lining side on the top here. And we're going to clip that in place. Just like that. Now we're going to sew all 4 edges. It feels weird. Yes, you are closing this off. All right, so I'm going to start down here. Now it's pulling. I don't know why. Weird. It's getting pretty thick, so I probably will go back over to my fabricator. And then stitch across the top. Yeah. Yep, it's getting very thick, so I'm going to go back over to my fabricator. Oh, please. All right, I moved over to my fabricator, and look, Nancy, I have my needle guard on, and I have Thumper with my clips. Little Groot. Thank you. It's absolutely adorable. All right, so I'm going to come out. I had trouble on my old burning it with the thickness. So we're just going to use thumper. Trying to find my, oh, there it is, okay. I'm just back stitching over my zipper tape. And then I am going to back stitch over my D-ring just to give it a little extra. All right, I did the other part on the Bernina. Perfect. Okay. Now we're going to just cut off our excess on the sides. Just a little. I have just a little. Over here. And then I'm going to burn my ends of my zipper tape. On both sides. Don't burn your cotton. All right, so now we have a completed pocket. Look at that. Cute. This is a paper punch, by the way. If you watch my mail opening with what Nancy sent me, it is a paper punch. I love it. All right, now we are going to repeat that with our other zipper pocket on this end. So here's my line, and I'm going to put my pocket right sides together, and we're going to stitch that 1/4 inch seam allowance right there. All right, so on each top edge, measure down what she tells you to in the pattern. Get the pattern out of the way. And I'm gonna have to use an ink pen because my marks are not staying. I'll put them in the seam allowance so you can't see them. Okay. Now we want to get our centers marked on both sides of this. We're getting ready to put our side panels on. I was doing a little reading on this, and interestingly enough, I read a bunch of comments about people not liking these patterns, byAnnie patterns, because there's too many steps. There are a lot of steps, but the end results are perfect. So, I mean, you know, each to their own. People don't like certain things, and that's absolutely fine. Okay. All right. Now let me check something. All right, I went ahead and changed my bobbin. So mark your centers on your main piece and on your side pieces. And on this, your front with the extra piece is on the right side. Your lining is laying up. We're gonna attach lining to lining, and we're gonna clip those in place. And then those marks that you made up here is where we're gonna attach the top of our sides. There is a lot of binding on this bag. I am gonna do it different than the pattern. And so now we're gonna bring the other side up to that other line up here. Oh dear, baby Groot fell over. It's okay. So there's a lot of thickness here with all the foam. So I'm glad I came over to Thumper here. Now I'm not having to clip anything, which is beautiful. But there is a lot of thickness. Look at these that Nancy sent me. She sent me some regular Wonder Clips and some of those thin Wonder Clips. I don't have any of these. I like them. All right, so now we're gonna sew that together at the seam allowance in the pattern. All right, couple things I did. I did add a tag. My tag, Jeannie's Designs, right here. And I am using binding fold over elastic. So I've added that to this side. And let's stitch it and see how we did. I gotta find my thread. So let's do it. Now I'm just going to go slow because I want to make sure that I'm catching both sides as I go. And I'm doing about 1/4 inch. Just enough to cover my basting stitch. And again, don't overthink this binding. Just do your best. I find this to be much easier than the cotton. Let's see. I don't really like working with cotton, especially non-interfaced cotton. That looks good so far. We'll see. Oh, time to stand. This might be easier on my form. I don't know. It's not really too bad. You don't want to have to go back over this because it's very visible, but if you do, you do. It's not bad. I think what I'm going to do on the other side is do it from the outside. So it's a little straighter, but it's okay. Okay, there you go. Let's repeat that on the other side. So I just folded this over a little bit. Starting at the top. And we'll pull it through. So you want to stretch it just a little. Don't overstretch your fold over elastic. Just a little. Now for the top zipper part, I probably will use, I don't know, I probably will use the cotton. I haven't decided. We'll see. then I'm just trimming this just enough to fold it over. My little cute Groot. Okay. I need a cup of coffee. All right, now, so take your zipper. She tells you what your measurement on your zipper should be. This is the front of the bag. So my zipper on my outside is closing to the left. And I want my zipper, my top zipper, closing to the left. And just a note on the binding, it is actually easier to do it from the front rather than from this side. I did miss it just a hair in one little spot, so I just went over that again. You can't even tell. All right, and then take your zipper right side up, and we're gonna lay it on the top raw edge on the back. So this is the back of the bag. This is the front of the bag. Mark in from the end 3/4 of an inch. Tells you that in the pattern. And start sewing at that 3/4 of an inch. Your seam allowance in the pattern. All the way to the end. Okay. And I'm just making sure I caught everything. Yep. And so on this end, you can separate your zipper a little. We're going to do a 90-degree turn just like that at that 3/4 inch mark. Just like that. And I'm just going to baste that in place. Okay. And then if you have any extra zipper tape there, just trim that off. But just like any zipper tape, you want to burn that in. And then we're going to repeat that on this side. So this is the back. All right, I was going to use the cotton, but I changed my mind. I'm just going to use the binding. I mean, my fold over elastic. I just think it's going to be easier in the long run for me. So I put double-sided tape on both sides of my zipper. And on my top raw edge. My zipper, my tape is very sticky. Oops, I didn't get it on there, did I? Okay. Let's put it on there too. Even though I'm using fold over elastic, I still wanted to put some double-sided tape here so it stays where I put it. I'm gonna have to really watch my needle, and that's okay. So for this, she tells you the length of this in the pattern, whether you're using cotton or you're using whatever you're using, fold over elastic or whatever. Okay. So we're gonna start on this end, the end of our zipper. The thing here, you just want to make sure that you're not getting too close to your teeth. Okay, so we're just gonna start right there. And I'm just gonna add it on the top, and then I'll go to the bottom. And here, I'm not really stretching it. You could, but because this is really binding, I'm not stretching it. All right, so I'm staying pretty good away from my teeth. And then we're gonna bring this end, without twisting it, over to this side, because we're leaving a handle on that other side. So we don't want to have it too tight, okay? I'll show you that here in a second. And you just want to get it pretty even. My instinct is to pull the fold over elastic because that's what we always do. It's funny. Okay. So now this becomes our handle down here. So now I'm going to take the tape off on the other side. This is so much easier than cotton. Yeah, so much easier. And now we're gonna fold that over. Beautiful. Yeah, this is working perfectly. Now when you get to your zipper here, again, just make sure you're not getting too close to your teeth. So just like that. Beautiful. All right, let's do it on the other side. This takes a little time, so just be patient with yourself. You don't want to do it too quickly because then it really won't look good. Now, you could use pre-made binding here as well if you wanted to. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Now, for this, I am just gonna clip these. You could use more tape if you wanted to. I'm just gonna clip those ends together because as we sew, we're gonna sew this together, which becomes our little handle. My husband says I do that a lot. I'm like, oh, I'm not sure I realize that. Now, because I use double-sided tape, I don't really need to clip it. Okay. I'm trying to decide how best to stitch this. I'm gonna get little baby Groot out of the way. And we're gonna start on this side. And we're just gonna stitch all the way around it. Open the zipper. There we go. That's better. Okay, here we go. I'm doing an 1/8 of an inch from the end of my fold over elastic. Try not to stretch. If you're using fold over elastic, try not to stretch it. All right, let's see how we did. Make sure I caught both sides. Oh my gosh, that really looks good. Got a little wonky here, but that's okay. That looks so good. There you go. So now you have your little handle here, and we're just going to put a zipper end here. I love it. Let me find my zipper end. I had 2 of these. Don't ask me why I cut 2 of them. So I'm gonna do it just a little different. So this is the right side of my zipper end. And I'm folding it in. I'm thinking, hold on. Let me think about this, hold on. All right, I decided not to use cotton. I don't like cotton for zipper ends, so I just got a piece of this PVC waterproof canvas, and I'm just gonna add that, and I'll cut off the extra from the back. And then I'm just gonna do a box. I would recommend doing something like this, or if you have a tiny piece of leather or vinyl, doing this instead of cotton. I just think it looks better, personally. There we go. Trim that as close as you can. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Okay. Now, let me add our handle or strap. Okay guys, here it is. Take a Stand by Annie. This was the bag making bee box. I don't remember what month it was. I've had it for a while. But here it is. Here's with the strap. This is considered the back, and you have a really good size pocket there. And then here on the front, you have another good size pocket. And then you have a handle, very cute. And you open it up all the way, and you have 2 mesh pockets on that side and 3 on this side. So cute. It's really cute. Now, would I have chosen these fabrics? No, because they've got dinosaurs on them. I gotta sneeze. Hold. Sneeze. But there it is. So there is so much room in this bag. It is just adorable. Adjustable strap. It's so cute. It's a byAnnie pattern, so there are a lot of steps. It turns out beautifully though, and it's cotton and waterproof canvas on the inside. So, and then I used fold over elastic for most of my binding, except for right here. It works pretty good. I did use a fair amount of tape to keep it in place while I sewed it. And then I put some canvas for a zipper end instead of cotton. So there's the little dinosaur. He's cute. He's cute. I covered him up on this side, but that's okay. You know, it's a cute pattern. It's not probably something that you would make to sell. It takes too long and it's got too many steps, but it's a great pattern to make something for yourself. So, I mean, I will probably try and sell this just because it's not something that I probably would use. Although it's very cute. I'm just getting some extra little pieces of tape that are hanging out there. It's cute. Very cute. the Take a Stand by Annie. And it's the bag making bee box. Again, I don't remember what month it is. So go get the pattern and give it a try. Thanks for watching.